Hey everybody, this is Inara Griffin, and I'm here with the New Earth Visionaries, Beverly Jones and Sally Shakti-Willow. And we're all in different places. As you can see, it's definitely summer because Sally Shakti's at a festival and we're very jealous. And we're talking about a very different angle of spiritual sales, really, because we speak a lot to spiritual communities. But there is another side of it, which is spiritual people often shy away from sales, and they don't really like how direct money can be. So I also want to speak into that space. And I saw once the best description of what sales is in a nutshell. And it was Dean Graziosi on stage with Shanda Sumter. And he just did this. And I'm going to use this as my example because I always use Prince as my example. Hey, you guys, I have got the best gig coming up this summer that I want you to come with me to see. And it's Prince, and he does these after shows. And even if you don't like his music, you will be blown away when you see the level of the musicians who show up for his show. And when you see what it's like to be in a tiny, intimate gig. And really, it's not a stadium. And I'm inviting you. These are after shows. So, I'm the first person that you'll ever hear about them because I'm a consummate fan. And I really want to invite you guys. And that right there is what most people do. They just stop at this point of, hey, I've got this amazing program that's going on. Da, 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 da. That's it. It's like, it's amazing. And so the sales piece is the directness of saying, hey, Sally Shakti and Bev, it's on the 21st of July, and I'm inviting you, and I'm going to meet you there. We're going to meet in the parking lot outside the stadium, and then we're going to walk in together, and this is what you're going to experience, and this is what you get, and I'm going to buy the ticket, and this is how much it costs, and this is what you'll experience. This is where we get to. This is how long it is. This is when we leave the gig. And that's a proper sales invite. And when he did this, it was an amazing experience to see, because many of you will do the excitement bit, all splattered all over your pages. Hey, wow, you got to come. But then there's no enrollment whatsoever of the person into the actual thing. And it's like you're embarrassed. It's like, oh, I've got this thing that, you might like to do, but let's not mention the price. Right. And that's how people deal with sales. And it's a disaster. So let's speak into it. I think Sally Shakti would like to talk to you about a very different way of looking at it. And I'll come back into this, and Bev will too.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Inara. What you said about I'll be the one who meets you at the doorway and walks you in. That is what really spoke to me in that message, because that's how I really think about sales and speak about sales. And this is consistent with what I've been saying each time we've been doing these videos. It's about an initiation process between you and your clients. You're taking on the role of the shamanic practitioner, whatever is your particular flavor or style of what it is that you're offering or teaching. And actually, when you get to do sales, you get to really step up into that role, because it's a real responsibility. And you are the one that meets them at the doorway of their initiation. You meet them at the threshold of their transformation. And for them to actually step across the threshold, that's when they have to make a choice to actually invest something of themselves, to make some exchange in the transformation experience that you are guiding them through. It's an initiatory process. And it's at that point, I think, when you make the sale, it gets to be an initiation for you as well, because everyone is just a little bit out of their comfort zone. I remember that was the first thing that Inara told me. You step out of your comfort zone and then you stay there. Everyone is just a little bit out of their comfort zone because it's a stretch. And that is the initiation process that you get to guide your client through. And you also get to experience and step up into yourself through that process.
Go, Bev, go.
Yeah, well, I agree on everything that you both said, actually. But I also want to like really point out on what Inara said, that, we get all excited. This is what you're going to experience. This is what you're going to, what's the transformation is going to get you and all that stuff. But then when it comes to talking the money part, that's when we started to shy away. We're so ashamed to talk about money, even though we believe that we could deliver everything that we could promise, that we promised to our clients. Like, we know we could deliver whatever it is, and we go extra miles. But when it comes to starting to talk about money, that's when we start quiet, that quiet, that awkward pause, when you also, how much is it? And you're like, oh, okay, $5,000, like, the excitement is gone because suddenly you can't talk about it. And I think um that is one thing that we should really get comfortable with. Like, it's one of that, part in our program or in our services, that we need to be comfortable talking about the money part when it comes to your sales.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk a little bit about money. Um, money is my friend, and that was one of my mantras, my early mantras, when I had come from a family who does not like money. And then I was a money coach. I was working with finance and wealth, and um, there were certain words that were really like an upward stretch for me. The word opulence, for instance. Opulent describes Versailles, the Palace of Versailles. Opulence to me was, at that time, it was so far reaching out of the annals of history type thing. I wouldn't dare go near that word. Luxury was also a little bit uncomfortable because you have to deserve luxury in my family, right? It's like, it comes from a long history of academics. They're all academics, and they don't buy the money story, right? They buy the value of a person. To my parents, is the value of their brain, and so they're very good on the um, not racist, because it's the value of your brain, not sexist, value of your brain. Anybody can get there. But if I drop the mention of money into it, it became a very uncomfortable moment. And when we work in spiritual circles, that is usually a very long history of that. The shame around money is associated with good people, spiritual people, even religious people are going to somehow do it for you for free, right? It's authentic if it's free, but it loses its power of authenticity if it has a price on it. And then there's that other story, which is Cross My Palm with Silver, which includes a kind of mention of the gypsy folk who were going to do fortune telling. But there's also like a payment involved, and it's got a little bit of a cheesy cheapness to it as well. So coming at your whatever it is that you're working on, and we work a lot with people who have got very high spiritual values, very amazing content that will go to the ends of the earth to make sure that you are satisfied. Where you go with this is the pricing will always be linked to your self-worth. And that's like an ongoing story. I mean, it's ongoing because wherever we've come from, we already have inherited a story about that. So the first piece is to go to work on your stories. What did your parents say to you? What did your grandmother say to you? My mom used to say, money doesn't grow on trees. Definitely doesn't grow on trees. I would be saying something quite different. Money is available everywhere. Money heals the world. Money is a good energy. Money is the current of change and positivity. And so a technique that I use with money is to just ask clients straight up, all right, take 3 breaths. We kind of neutralize the space, deep breath, and then get a pen and paper and write the first 10 things about money. Money is, money is, money is. And what I have noticed is that there are people who will be super truthful, right? And for me, it was like, you could see 5 of them are backstories from parents or grandparents. or lineage, or the Irish or the Scottish that's in my family, of a poverty consciousness, right? It's like bad people have money. And then there would be other things where you could see I had tried to work it out a bit, but they would be really over the top, like money is love, you know, and totally not coming from my parents or my background. So what you do with these first 10 statements is look at them, see where you are at right now, and then neutralize yourself again, do another 3 breaths and change it to the exact opposite. So if a client is really like stuck in negative, so money destroys the world, money kills all the animals, money is corporate, you know, violence or whatever, they have to write the exact opposite of that. They cross out the end of the sentence. And so if it's money destroys the world, it would be money blesses the world, or money heals the world. And then they've got 10 new statements. If you started with money heals the world, then you have to go to money destroys the world. And you will have a new 10 statements. And the object of this is to observe that both are true, that all are true, that all money is neutral, completely neutral. And what we choose to do with it is where the hit comes from and the energetic of it. So I work with people like that to get them to understand where they are placed. You can do that for yourself. And then where you need to start to work. What's the working on? And remember that self-worth is completely linked to pricing. So let's open that up. Whoever would like to say something about that. Go, Bev.
Right. Okay. So I love the conversation about money. Well, yeah, coming from a background with absolutely nothing, I've been obsessed about making money since I can remember. I can't remember actually. Maybe since I started, I don't know, just realizing that we are coming from, you know, that poverty background, and all I think about when I was a kid is like, I need to make money. Like when I was a kid, you know how we all have a dream, like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be anything, like I want to be a writer, things like that. But for me, when I was growing up, my dream was I want to be rich. I don't know how. So since then I've been like, okay, I really need to learn about money. Like, and it's good that you touch on point, like, you know, us as a business owners, that is the first relationship that we need to be good at, our relationship with money, because business ultimately is to make money. I mean, if you are just making it just for the fun of it, then it's a hobby. It's not a business, right? If you want to start a business, you're gonna have to figure out how can you get revenues, how can you get profit, how can you make money, like, you know. And I think, like you said, Inara, the relationship we have with money is often transferred to us. We inherited them from our parents, like, you know, from the society, and sometimes a specific experience in our lives. Like there'll be that experience in our life that is related to money that has changed the way, or not even maybe change, but influence the way we have that relationship, and we carry it everywhere. We carry it the way we shop, you know, even in, you know, supermarket shopping, the groceries, or the way we price our products and services. It's because of that relationship with money that we have. So yes, if you want to scale your business, if you want to make profit in your business, you need to fix your relationship with money. And as a business owner, you have to be on top of it. Because if you are a person who shy away when you start talking with money, it will not do you good in the long run. You know, your clients will feel that you are uncomfortable talking about the pricing. They feel that, they'll know that. And we don't want to, like, you know, we don't, I don't want to put my money to someone who doesn't even know or value that money, right? As a client. So I think it is such a good topic, and I do love the topic of money. Like, you know, my friends would always say, like, you always talk about money. Like, well, yeah, why not? You know, there are actually few topics in our life that are very sensitive, because it's always, within this, like shame. Like there are things that are so shameful for us to talk about. Like money is one, sex and mental health is like, like on top of my head, are like there's always shame around it. And money is, it comes with it big time. So if we don't heal that relationship with money, we cannot scale our business, we cannot raise our prices. And like you said, it could be linked to your self-worth, because you feel like, oh, I'm not that good enough, I cannot charge that much, or I'm only charging this much because that's what I feel right. Like, unless you step out of that and heal that relationship with money, you can't increase your prices, talk about it comfortably. And instead of saying how much is it, oh, it's 5,000, say it's 5,000, it's 5,000 pounds, take it or leave it, because this is what I'm pricing it, for example, right? Instead of like, okay, so how much is your budget, can I lower that maybe, like, there's that bargaining. So yeah, let's, as a business owners, we should really heal our relationship with money first of all.
Yeah. Sally Shakti.
Yeah, I love that, Bev. I love this conversation that we're having. My background is different again from both of yours. I notice as well that my business is a service. It's a service business, and my background is more about people's value being from how much they give of themselves. I've really been noticing this pattern in my family and in my ancestral lineage of self-sacrifice, and making sure that everybody else gets their needs met, beyond, above and beyond having one's own needs met. So the self-sacrifice and the being in service has been the highest value that I've inherited. And I noticed that my business is a service-based business. And I noticed that until recently, I was trying to make sure that I was pricing my services at an affordable rate. So this thing that I've been talking to my clients about, you put your price up so that your clients get to step up, they get to cross this threshold, they get to move through this initiation, you get to lead them through it. I wasn't doing that because I was making sure that my clients all stayed within their own comfort zone, and that it was very easy for them to pay me for the services I was providing them. So this is a threshold that I'm at now, where I get to actually step up and do that work for myself and lead my clients through that threshold to say, actually, this is what this service is worth. This is the experience that I'm providing for you, and this is what this is the transformation that I'm creating for you, and this is what it's worth. And then you get to step up and cross that threshold, and it might be a stretch, it might be an initiation process to go through, but that's something that I haven't really been stepping up into myself. So I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Great. Well, I've excuse me. I've spent a lot of money on my business, and I mean a real lot of money. So I think at this current time, I was trying to estimate the last phase that I've been working on my own business, and there's at least £300,000 that I can say has definitely gone into it. And that's been these layers of going into working with different coaches who have been excellent over the last 20 years, working to pay to get public speaking gigs has been another. That was a huge investment. And I don't need to do that anymore because I'm now over that threshold. Each thing is a threshold. Oh, each thing is a threshold. I'm choking on the word threshold. I must have a threshold coming up. And whenever I go towards it, I am able to witness in myself the same behavior, right? And that's where we want to get to when we know what we're going to do ourselves. It's very self-reflexive, and it's starting to deal with the self as you want to take yourself out of the comfort zone anyway. So that's the first point. And Sally Shakti mentioned that. David Bowie's famous quote, which is to walk into the water until your feet no longer touch the touch the ground. So you're out of your depth. When you get there, stay there. Stay out of your depth. And that's where art happens. And that's where the magic happens and the creation. So when I have that as a reference point now, and I use this as, I don't ever want to be comfortable. That's the thing about that, what Bev was saying, that sort of, oh, you know, let's shrink a little bit. I do notice in my own behavior, I'm sure you guys will relate to, that before a big moment of shift and uplift, I have a contraction. That's the usual, it's the, you know, panic stations coming in. Ah! You know, I got presented with an $18,000 bill for a public speaking gig for 20 minutes. And I remember it was like, and I wanted it. I'd already said yes to it. That's the point. I'd already said yes. Then I got the bill and I was like, you know, I had this whole drama going on in my own facial, you know, are you kidding me? Da, 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 da. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, great, let's do it. And that's what I do every time. And 20 years ago, it would have been the same behavior around 30 quid. Now it's this, now I'm working with millions, same behavior. Behavior never changes. The energy hit never changes. I am getting to a point, I remember one of my mum's friends, we were astonished because I was in a clothing shop in Canada. And she's in her 80s, this woman. And she said to me, I never look at the price. And I was like, wow. I mean, wow. Oh my God. I mean, I sure as hell look at the price, right? But I thought, what an amazing freedom to be at that stage in her life. She's an academic, so she's not like a fashionista or somebody, you know, who's had tons and tons of money. But she probably at that stage in her life knows that if she's going shopping, she's going shopping, right? The energy is a yes already. So when we bring this back into, there's so many different angles, and I'm sure we'll have another conversation probably about pricing would be a good one. But in sales, some of the pre-work that one needs to do is to get this out of the way, get this garbage out of the way. Sewage, as one of my mentors calls it. It's your sewage. You're dribbling all over your clients with your opinions and your garbage and this and that. It's straightforward. I suggest that you increase your prices by 3. That's an actual technique I use with most clients of mine. Increase by 3 and you'll freak out, right? You're just doing it right now. You're having the freak out. Watch what's going on. What's going on? What are you saying to yourself right now? I can't do that. It's not worth, nobody will buy that. You know, it's all that stuff, right? So increase your price by 3. That's where your future self is headed. That's the prices that you're looking at that are accurate. And that if you tried to do these step by step, you'd always have to have interim conversations. But when I work with people right at the beginning of their journey, I'm like, okay, like today you're increasing the prices by 3. And how you do that is you're going to communicate, because sales is communication. Everything about it is communication. So it would be not just, hey guys, I'm increasing my prices by 3. It would be, we're coming to September. I work a lot with timing. So let's say we're here in July and we've got August, which is a month where I say take time off and do content. When you come back in, there's a natural upsurge for everybody in society to understand, hey, game on, something different. You've come back from school, you've come back from rest, you've da-da-da-da-da. It's a natural uplift time to say, I'm going to just communicate with all my clients and I'm just telling you, hey, we're bringing in a new pricing structure. That's all you need to say, bringing in a new pricing structure, and these are the new prices, boom. Now, no energy in it, just you can put some pretty pictures on it and you can make it sound nice, but you can say, and there are payment plans available, and that's it. Choose your timing, but know already that you're already going to do that. Right. And that's a technique. Now, I don't need to do that right this minute because my pricings are accurate to what I'm doing. But I've had to do that many, many times to get my prices accurate to where I'm at right now. And if you've never done it before, it's an amazing technique. And then let's go back to sales. So you've increased your prices. Let's say, how would Sally Shakti deal with this? You've increased by 3. You've taken me on. It's September. How would you communicate that to your people, the new programs? These are the new prices.
It's a great question, and I had in my head to be responding to something else you said. So, sorry.
You can do that too.
Thank you. So let me start with that whilst the other things filtering and processing. I wanted to go back to the lady who goes shopping and never looks at the prices. And you said that she's already a yes, she's already in, like she's going shopping, she's already committed. So when you as a business owner are making your sales, I think you have two kinds of clients. You have the ones that you are working with as a facilitator and you're initiating them into the next step so that you guide them across the threshold to make the sale. And then you're also speaking to the ones who are already a yes. You know, we spoke in the video about messaging, about communicating at the frequency that your ideal client is already looking for. They know what their problem is. You've empathized with their problem. You've shown them that you can guide them across that threshold of transformation. And now you know that they're already a yes, because that you are presenting them with the frequency that they are seeking. So you also can go into the sale with that, with that confidence, knowing that your client is already a yes. And if they're not a yes, then they're not for right now. Maybe there's more communication work, maybe there's more value creation and nurturing to do on that, on that journey. How would I, to answer your question, Inara, because I actually have been thinking about this, and I think September is good timing for that. So what was the plan that I already had in my head was to actually, for me, I have a handful of very intimate clients because of the service work that I've been providing. So I do have a handful of intimate one-to-one clients, and to have a conversation with them, an honest conversation that steps up and says, this is the value of the work I'm doing for you. This is the value I'm creating for you. This is my price.
So would you deliver that? I just want to ask you, saying you want to have a one-to-one conversation?
Yeah. And I would, because I have a handful of clients who I have a very intimate relationship with at the moment.
Would you also back it up with a new menu of options on your pricing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So for new clients coming in, they would see the new options straight off. But for my current clients, the ones I work with one-to-one, I would have that conversation.
Okay. Bev, your pricing is going up. How are you going to tell your clients?
Well, for new people who haven't, who's not my client, yes, of course, they're just going to see the new pricing, right? They don't have to see the old ones. But for the existing clients, if they want to, continue working with me with the new pricing structure, I would send them, of course, a communication, whether it's via email or whether it's, first it will be via email, because I'm that kind of person who don't really want to take on too much, so this is my new pricing and this is why, and this is what you're getting with this. And, if you need more information, then I would go jump on a call with them. And that call would be just a conversation of, are you comfortable with the new pricing? It's not the bargaining conversation. It's just, yeah, go on, Sally. I think you want to say something.
Oh, I didn't need to interrupt. It was for after.
All right. Yeah. So for me would be the first, communication, a series of communication. But of course, I wouldn't do it like boom, like, immediately. So what I would probably do is send a series of letters that, oh, we have this new thing on the services that I'm providing. I'm going to be adding this, and then send another conversation about, so this is how it would impact your business if you continue working with me. So basically, I'm going to show them the benefits of what is of the change that is coming. And when the change is finally there, I'll be like, with all these good things that you're going to get, it's new pricing. We don't want to shock them. So we have to
So
really sell them
you
into
are
the
selling them your new prices. You're doing
yes,
this is your
exactly.
sales technique. I love
That's
it.
what I'm gonna do. Like, oh, I have an announcement. This is the new thing.
Yeah.
An improvement because you need to show them first the benefits. Otherwise, they might get so shocked and like, oh, how, why, so hopefully by the time I send them, this is my new pricing structure, they're already convinced. There will be few people who would need that one-on-one call with me, but they've already been sold to it. Like,
Yeah,
that's what I'll do.
it's good.
I work in the call center before. So when I was like younger, when I started, I worked in the call centers. That's the strategy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just come in and build off of what Bev was saying, and this is also a response to your specific question about a menu of services in Aura, because I have just been working on that. And at the point at which my pricing has dropped in to what I feel is currently the right pricing structure for me is actually at the point at which I started
Hang on, we're losing you a bit. Just say that again.
on that menu. And this is, oh, that's just a menu of services. And the point at which I felt the pricing really dropped in for me was that when I listed, these are all the things that you get, and this is the value of all of those things that you're getting, and this is the investment I'm asking you to make. And when I saw that and I mapped that out, I thought, yeah, that feels right for me right now.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to come back to a technique that I learned from oh good God, what is his name? Jim, who is Tony Robbins' top sales executive. And so I'm going to just give this to you guys right now because I trained with him as part of a mastermind. And I think this is just simply brilliant. So if I was teaching something and it was a new thing, let's think of something new. What am I doing? Oh, I'm doing the 11 Kings program. Okay. That's aimed at men who are already masters in their own world, but I'm working with the concept of mastery, right, for them. So I would come on and I would, let's say there's an hour-long introduction to this work that I'm going to do. How you own the screen or you occupy space as leadership when you first come on is you say to people, hi, everybody. I'm Inara Griffin. I'm here to talk to you about the 11 Kings program. And here's how our call is going to go. That's statement one. The minute that you say that, here's how our call is going to go, or here's our time is together, you are owning the space and becoming the authority of that space. So then you say, and here's how it's going to go. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, about just why I'm, perfect for this role. Then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, right, about who you are and where you're at in your business. Then we're going to take about 45 minutes. This is owning the clock. 45 minutes we'll be coming back to. And then at that point, I'm going to present you with options. If you do right at the beginning of any call of sales, if you're like gagging with fear, then you're already owning the space. The sale is halfway there, right? Just that. So you do that exactly in the order. Now, we all know, and I don't really have these people anymore, but right in the beginning, I would take anyone on, right? To train them, coach them, whatever. And I really don't have that anymore. I only have people who pretty much want to work with my style of coaching. And I don't have the ones who are interrupting continuously. But that's something to indicate that if you see somebody go, oh, yeah, and then what do I get? And all of this, you just say, we're going to go back to this structure. All your questions will be answered. So you just calm them down, right? It's going straight back to this structure. And you repeat that anytime there's an interruption. You don't go off track of what your delivery is, because there is a place where three in is the time when they get you get to talk about 2 questions or so, right, for the person. Then you take them around to the end and you've got 15 minutes. And I always think the 15 minutes of any presentation, final 15 minutes, is the sales talk, right? Because all of this stuff was my intro, hyping you up for why it would be good, why I'm an expert. I tell you the things about why my expertise, that's self-worth, that's pricing. Then it goes to their questions, honoring your client. Then you go up to the place of, right, I've got you so hyper. Now you need to be really straightforward. And I'd sometimes do it with time. I literally go, when that clock hits, and I've got like a stopwatch down here, and I'm doing presentation here. When it hits 15 to the hour, I'm going to start my sales spiel. And it's like this. So, hey, you've seen everything that we can do together. And I just noticed that you're really excited about this, and I'd like to hear your initial impression. Is this a good fit for you? And they will pretty much always say yes. And you want them to say yes out of their mouth, right? Because once somebody said yes, the role is they will continue to say yes. So you say, so it's a good fit for you, yes? And do you like what you see? Yes. Great. And did you enjoy that? You know, you can see that we've answered your questions and this will fit here for you and it, you know, it'll work. And they go, yes. And you go, okay, great. So now I'm going to go through the economics of it. And that's exactly how he says it. I'm now going to go through the economics of it. Now, it was a bizarre statement when I first heard it, but I kind of get it because it neutralizes this, here's the money, you know, here's what you will be paying me. It's just now we're going to go through, and some people will say, and now we're going to go through the investment. And I really like that because it neutralizes the tone completely. And so you just lay it out. And usually if you want to do a really good sales, you know, the prices, so mine 11 Kings is 11,000 and it takes place over 11 months. If you want to break it down, you can do 1111 each month, 1,011 each month. But there is a deal if you do an 11-month cycle, you know, and then you offer them the deal. And what you want to do is either a bonus or a limiter. So it's like there's only like 5 people can go in the 11 Kings. It's an absurdity, but there's only room for 5. So that's the first limiter. It's time sensitive. It's only available for 24 hours at this price. The bonus that you want to add, you add in the bonus, and you have to be strong enough to take away the bonus. Like the bonus goes away the minute, if it's an early bird and it hits that time clock of the early bird, it's gone, right? And you never go back to it. And you've got to be like seen to be strong in the way that you deliver your sales. And at the end of it, you go, so how does that sound to you? And they'll go, oh my God, 11,000, no way. And you go, okay, that's great. Now, I just want to go back to something. What did you say right at the beginning was the importance of your vision being, you know, the calling on earth? Right, super important to you. I want you to just get back into this space. And you said that you were unstoppable in all these things. And the first thing that you've talked about here is money being unstoppable. Let's have a conversation about that. So you go back to the problem once, and then you say, I'm going to give you, the Brits are much better. The Americans are way less friendly about time because they do a very aggressive sales and they go, you've got, you know, whatever, 24 hours or 15 minutes in some cases. The Brits are much, I prefer this model where I go, great, have you got everything you need to consider? Excellent. So I would like you, so I own the space again. I would like you to take 24 hours to think about this. And whether it's a yes or a no, I want to have that clarified. So let's make an arrangement to speak next day at 5 o'clock. Let's get it in the diary. And it's totally cool. It's a yes or it's a no. Payment plans are available. And that's it. Totally neutral. And now I find that I'm really good at this, right? So there was a bit of a stuttering thing when I was telling you the way, but when I'm doing it, it's really effortless because I know most of the thing I'm delivering is all about the program that I know I've worked so hard to create. I'm just telling people about it. I know there's only 15 minutes at the end, which is going to involve direct conversation, and you've got to practice in front of the mirror. 11,000, 11,000. And if it's monthly, it's 11,11. And that's the way it is. Why is that? Because I work with sort of magical frequency numbers. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Why is it? Because that's what, I downloaded. That's what's appropriate. But what you don't do is go and compare to other people and say, it's because, well, so-and-so does it for a little higher and so does it for a little lower. And so I'm coming in on average. You just don't do any of that. You just sit and then be silent at the end. Shut up. Don't convince. Receive. Listen. Receive their communication. And you'll know I don't oversell anything. And people always come back to me. So it's like that. If it's a no, it's a no. Respect that choice of your client. And if it's a yes, back them up, make a stand for them. Because a lot of the work I do is these people really want the support I know I can give to get them to the next realm in their, do you like the word realm, Sally Shakti? Maybe we'll use realm in the future. Realm, to build your realms, right? And but there's a piece of silence that you drop in there, which is you just listen. Because most people try and overdo that bit. They're coming back like, oh, you sure? How do you feel? Does it feel good to you? Don't say anything. So over to either of you. Bev is twitchy. Go, Bev.
Yeah, because I really got excited when you were, telling that strategy, because it's a great, it's that's how selling should be, effortless. And like, I love that when you take the authority, like, you become the authority, you take control of the room if you're speaking, right? So how do we now turn this into digital marketing, right? So that's where a well-designed funnel would come in, a copywriting that is just perfect with those, with those steps in mind, like calling out the people that you want to attract in your program. Of course, that's where, because we see a lot of landing pages, funnels and stuff like that, but a properly designed, like an effective landing pages for sales funnel is designed how Inara explained it. You get the authority in there, and then you get all the social proof in there. You establish your expertise. Why do they need to trust you? And then you have all the what's in it for them. What are they going to get? Like asking those questions, you have to put it in there in your copywriting. And, simple strategies like, when you're building a landing page. And if people who's watching this have this on your page, I bet a lot of people does, so you have this offer and you just put click here. A little change on, yes, I am ready, whatever it is. It makes a lot of difference because it's you, as Inara disclaimed, asking them, does it make sense for you? Does it fit you? And instead of like click here, they say, yes, it does. It fits me. Like change the wording. So if you, for the people that's watching this, you have a landing page on your website that says click here, change it now. Change it to something. Ask a question that is relevant to whatever it is that you're offering, and then change your button, your call to action buttons. And that the 24 hours, for example, 24 hours. Okay, now if you don't, if you're still not convinced, register now, and then you get this email that comes to you. You have 24 hours to decide, and this is the price. In your landing page, you have your payment plan. So yeah, all this can be put in a powerful, really effective landing page if you know the strategy behind it and how to put it properly with a proper copywriting, which now Sally Shakti is going to talk about.
Yeah, thanks, Bev. And I love the conversations we've been having around language. We were talking about economics, which is a word that has to do with exchange, and investment, which is to do with actually, you know, growing yourself through that process. And I love that Bev was talking about the call to action buttons. It's like, yeah, give your people an opportunity to step up and say yes. Talk to them directly, invite them through that button to actually take an action, to take an initiation for themselves, and to make that choice. And I wanted to say that funnel structure that Bev's just spoken about. So Inara was speaking about how you create that structure in your sales call. Bev has spoken about how that can be mapped onto a landing page, and that also it becomes the structure of an email marketing campaign. It's the same process that you are leading your clients through. So maybe over a period of weeks or a period of whatever your promotion period is, you're going to send those exact emails and those exact messages to your list, to your community, to find out the ones who are ready to step up and say yes to that invitation when you make it. It's the same structure, it's the same process. You're going to own the space, you're going to tell them who you are, you're going to remind them why you're the expert in this field. You're going to show them what the benefits and what the transformation experience will be for them. You're going to back that up with testimonials and social proof, and then you're going to make the invitation. Ooh, did you get that? Because my battery went. Then you're going to make the invitation. So you know, it's that same process, and the reason why is because it's a structure that works. And so what we do with you is help you and support you to move into that structure and get into that process in every aspect of what you're doing. Inara will coach you to do that on your sales calls. Bev will set up the funnel. I will create the copy, and together we create that whole structure with you, so that you are stepping into that sales process for yourself.
Yeah. And so again, here is the invite, and see we could have just left it like this, and then there would be no sales, right? So I'm going to step directly into that and say, if any of this speaks to you, if you feel like we could help you in your business and expanding everything that you're doing, then just call us. And that's it. And that right there is a sales call right there. And there's nothing more to it. I'm not putting a price on it because we don't know what you want. But if we did, I would just say the price there, just like that. And that's it. So I think it's a great, oh, Bev, go. Yeah, you want to have a.
Yeah, well, just to end this conversation as well, because I want to touch on a point that you mentioned earlier, and it's very powerful, I think. So people want to experience transformation in their business, right? But like you said, you invested in your business to get where you are right now. And I think that's what missing to a lot of business owners. They are afraid to invest on themselves, on their business. So if you are afraid to invest in your business, how do you expect your clients to invest in you? So that's right. There is another sales call.
Excellent. And Sally Shakti's sales call. Come on, what's yours?
Yeah, the investment is where the growth is. You know, for you and your clients, it's where the growth happens. It's where the transformation happens, and it's where we all get to stretch to the next level.
In my final sales moment, but this is also just a fact, that when you see people who are successful suddenly appear on your screen, or you become aware of them, there's 10 years often behind that of their growth, of all the work that they've done, of all the different investments that they've made. People don't just appear out of nowhere and go, ta-da, you know. I have done so many Facebook Lives, so many interviews all over the place, so many speaking gigs. I've invested so much. For me to show up like this, there's an ease because I've been doing it for a long time, and clients always show up. And that's my assumption now. They're always going to show up. So I come into this space, there's no desperation. It's just like, great, I know we're a fit for somebody. Come on in. And that's probably a good place to end. We'll have another one of these because we're just doing a whole series on different aspects of building your business, your spiritual business, using spiritual marketing. And so if you do want to speak to us, please call. And sending you so much love, so much luck, and enjoy your business because it's meant to be fun. So see you later.